Hey guys, today I want to finally introduce and review the DJI Phantom Quadcopter. I've been using one of these for a couple of months now. Spoiler alert, I absolutely love it, but let's run through. Okay, so if you're into building helicopters, you'll know what goes into one of these. There's actually heaps of really high technology that makes this super easy to fly. Now, for people who like to build their own ones, this is kind of like helicopters or quadcopters for dummies, because this comes in the box pretty much assembled. You just need to bolt on a few different parts. Let's show you that setup. Taking a look top down on the box, it comes all neatly packed in a fairly slimline little package. Opening it up, you can see all the stuff that comes inside. So the quadcopter is that main unit that you can see with the 4 arms. As we take it out and have a little look around it, it's fairly compact and it ships without the legs attached. The legs are just there underneath. There's the remote control, fairly straightforward. Underneath that you've got a bunch of propellers, including some spares. Then in the bottom corner you've got the power, and it comes with a couple of different international adapters, so it can, I guess the same model gets shipped to different countries. The battery is fairly serious, 2200 mAh, and it's quite an industrial one. We'll talk about the charger in a second. Comes with a little mount that'll hold the GoPro 3. You can get different mounts for them as well, but that one comes standard, and then that's your actual charger. Now, I don't think it's one that was designed by DJI, but it does the job really well, and you just need to know how to use it properly. You plug the red into the red, the black into the black, and then you'll see the battery has a prong that will just fit one way into the charger. And then it's got a balance port, that again will only fit in one of the side balance sections. It's the middle door, and that is served, it just makes sure the battery is perfectly charged. Then you want to make sure it's on LiPo, so lithium polymer battery, not the other option. And then you can charge it at 1, 2 or 3 amps. I normally do 2, but they recommend that up to 3 is fine. Looking down again, you've got the legs. Now that's got a digital compass and it's got GPS built into this thing. It's got gyrometers and all kinds of stuff, as I said. It's pretty high tech, but just easy to fly. So let's do the actual setup. It really is straightforward. You just need a screwdriver and then it comes with the tape and everything else you need. Grab the leg that's got the little compass thing on there. The wire goes up through the hole in the foot, plugs into that unit, and then you just use the 4 of the 10 screws that are provided to screw that down. Same on the other side, grab that unit, that's what it uses to actually receive the signal from the controller, thread it up through and you'll find there's a nice little notch where it fits easily. Screw it down with the 4 screws. And then there's tape included in the pack to tie down both of those cables so they sit nice and flush. Next up, attaching the GoPro mount, there's a little note there saying make sure you use the right screws, but there's 10 screws, they're all the same, it doesn't matter. So that one just screws down with 2 little screws, then you can undo it to pop your GoPro in. It's simple as simple. This next step is very important. Make sure that you get the propellers put on properly. So when you take the screws off and then take a look at each of the 4 rotors, really take note of the little symbol that's near where the propeller goes on, saying which direction the propeller is going to turn. Each bag of propellers has one that turns in each direction, so you need to make sure you get the propeller that matches the symbol of the one you're going to put on there. It'll only thread on in one direction, and not like the band, and then you need to screw it down using the little tool nice and tight. Then, next up, powers into the remote controller. We'll talk through what all the controls do in the video on first flying. You always want to make sure that you turn the controller on before you put a battery in the helicopter, just in case the helicopter decides to take off, you have control of it. So, turning it around, opening that little flap, it's just a little catch on the flap that opens that up. Then you've got the little port that's just like the charging one. The battery plugs into it, it'll only go in one way, you can't short it out, it's a funny shape. As soon as you plug it in, it'll make a noise and then it fires up. The battery slides in the opposite end first. It's all really snug. Then you just tuck all the cables in, close the door. As I say, it is snug. There's no wasted space on this thing, but it fits easily enough. You're not going to crimp the cables or anything. And then you're ready to fly. Let's go back to the park. So truly, it's quite simple to set up. I'm not techie at all. The only thing is the manuals that come with it are useless. So follow the instructions I showed you there. I found a PDF online and watched some YouTube videos as well. And it takes literally a couple of minutes to set up. The only thing is that the box that it comes in, that nice box that you buy it in, you have to keep taking the legs off if you want to store it in that one because it doesn't fit in there. So I actually bought this big what's it called? Alware one, which lets you pack it all in nice and flat. So I'm just gonna have a little fly of it here, let you see it, then I'll splice in some footage I've taken whilst I've been traveling around in Hong Kong and stuff. You know, it's made to take a GoPro. The quality of the video footage you get off there is quite good. You can get gimbals which will stabilize the video really, really well, but they often cost more than the actual unit. Let's have a look at some footage. Okay, in a future video, you're gonna see Eric learning to fly this thing. It's over there in the distance. You can probably barely make it out now, but he's been flying it for a good 10 minutes or so, and he's pretty much got the hang of it. It still takes a bit of practice, but I really think this offers so much potential for people for filming or just for fun. I swear everyone, men and women, come up and wanna know, where'd you buy it? How high does it go? How much does it cost? Everyone asks the same 3 questions, and what's it called? It's really fun, just take baby steps. I can see Eric starting to get a bit cocky with it now. Bring it over the blue sky so they can make it out. So over, oh, he's getting cocky. He's doing his 360s. Okay, there we go. Coming back into the blue, you should see it soon. There you go. But it's got a huge range. And honestly, if you take a look at what's on the market that'll hold a camera, even make your own ones. You know, there may be some cheaper options out there, but for people who aren't experts but want to get into this, it's hard to beat this. I'm not technical at all. I set it up in 5 minutes after I got decent manuals, and I learned to fly it fairly quickly. Follow the steps I told you, which took me a few hours of flying around with no advice to figure out. And like Eric, you'll get it in 10 minutes, and then you can get some pretty cool footage straight off the bat. How cool is this? It's flashing red because it's out of battery. Eric did nothing and it just flew itself back to where we started off to land itself. So let's go change that battery. Luckily I have heaps of batteries now, and show you about the GPS mode. Okay, taking a look at the control here, you've got GPS and ATTI mode. When it's in GPS mode, when you let go of the control like he does now, it hovers. But when you have it in ATTI mode, it'll keep gliding. So let's do that. At the moment we're in GPS mode. Just leave it in GPS mode. Let's go up. Now fly it to the right and stop. And see, it just kind of hovered itself. Now fly it back to the left and stop. And it hovers itself. Okay, now let's try out ATTI mode. So take it to the right, leave it in GPS for now, just take it over to the right. Cool, let me get my focus right. Okay, now switch it to ATTI mode. Too hot? That's okay, that's okay. ATTI mode, flick it to the bottom setting. Now fly it to the left, get up a bit of momentum, and then let it off, and stop. And it's probably hard to tell at home, but it's still drifting to the left. Now go to the right and do the same thing. Actually, can you bring it down just a little? It's a bit hard to see against the white sky. Get your bearings. It's up high enough. If you get into a situation like this, guys, actually this is unscripted. Oh, bring it, just put it up. I'll put it back on the GPS for starters. GPS will stop it from drifting. So now it's stopped. You guys can't even see it, but it's up there, and I'm gonna give Eric the video camera whilst I bring it home. Okay, so having it on ATTI mode meant that it would just keep drifting on us. So now I'm just gonna work out which way is left and right. I'm gonna fly it back to us. That's why I really, really strongly recommend when you're first getting started, keep it in GPS mode. That means when you let go, it'll at least hover for you, so you're not gonna lose it. So I'm just gonna try and get it back to over us. And that's the other reason why having it in a big open place is good. This is really high up. If we were amongst buildings, it'd be so easy to lose track of which way you should be going and have it bump into something. So I'll go into this more when we do our first flight video, which will come out in the next week or so. But essentially, if it's in GPS mode, when you center the controllers, it'll just hover, which is good to get you out of trouble. In ATTI, it'll glide. In GPS mode, it'll also fight the wind. Really handy to know that. Start in GPS mode. Check out how good it is at holding its bearing. Bringing him in nice and close. I trust you. Oh, his first time ever flying. Should I say I trust you? Okay, just let it hover. Bring it up and then let it hover. So I'm now close enough that I can touch it. It really is that stable, and you know, it's just hovering. Look, just hold it. Don't do anything. Okay, when I push it, watch this. Because we have it in GPS mode, it corrects itself. He's not doing anything there. Just let it bring it up a little. It's really, whoop. He's still working out the height issue here, but it's just doing that itself. It's figuring out, oh, something happened, I bumped something. And if I try and bring it this way, see, it just brought itself back again. Now, I don't recommend that you start grabbing it straight off. Like I said, I have been using this for a few months now, but it's really intuitive to use. Turn it around and face it away from me, and then take it up. I just want to point out, I'm really not being tricky. Alex is not a helicopter pilot or something, and this is literally the first time he's using it, and he's pretty much got it. I'm going to do my little conclusion for you, talking to you, but looking at this guy. Let's get him up. So, it's that simple to get it up and flying. You've seen the setup time is literally a couple of minutes. It takes no time at all to get it sorted. The only thing that you really need to take time on is making sure you get the left and right and all of the initial flying things. So I'm going to do a separate video where I get Eric to talk you through his first time flying, and I'll show you the things you want to think about the first time you fly. But it really is this simple. Let's see how close we can get him in to say hello. When you've got the GPS on, it's just, it's quite windy today. You may not be able to tell. It looks like it's moving around a little bit, but if it were just left to its own devices, it would be flying around like crazy. It's quite windy here. But I really think for people who want to do a bit of aerial footage, this is something that offers great potential for you. You need to check your local laws. There are issues about flying something like this for commercial purposes if you're going to sell the footage. Hello. But for hobbyists, pretty much it depends on your country, but in most countries you're free to use them. Just use your common sense, because there is a chance that you could hurt someone, obviously. But I really love it, partly as a geek thing and partly because I think it'll offer a lot of opportunities to use it on the channel. It's a fun toy / tool. So stick around. We will have some reviews on the on the bag that I've been using, as well as the first flight and things you want to take in mind to make sure you don't crash straight off the bat. But for now, let's just go for a little test flight. Let's see how high you go. Bye-bye.